G'day mates, today we're going into the bush of a very mythical forest, one surrounded by many folk tales and myths, to find one of the most mythical, legendary creatures of all time. I'm of course talking about the legendary green buffalo. There have been sightings in these parts, and I think there's a good chance we're gonna find him. Alright lads, I'm in the forest, and we're gonna keep our eyes peeled. Hopefully we find some signs of the green buffalo, or really any cool animal, just as to document nature, but hopefully we do find signs of that buffalo. And here we go, going in. These woods in particular are known for their many evil stories, such as a wild skunk. Ooh, look at this. Look at that beauty of a bug. Look at him go. Running up a tree to his natural habitat. These woods have been the center of many myths and folk tales and folklore surrounding the nearby town. There's been sightings of an evil skeleton running loose from hell. There's been sightings of an evil bird. But most importantly, there's been sightings of the wild green buffalo. Could that be? Is this a tuft of the green buffalo here? Oh no, it's just grass. There's been sightings around these parts, and I'm looking for him, and I'm gonna find him, whether he's in this forest or if I have to swim to the very bottom of the Mariana Trench. It's entirely possible that this tree here was knocked down by the wild green buffalo. Can't be certain. It could have been the mighty purple bear, or the blue giraffe. But any sign the buffalo could have been here, we gotta take down. We gotta note it. We gotta keep track and put it in our evidence folder. So, found this cool mushroom hanging off a tree. Unfortunately, he broke off. But they're tiny baby mushrooms. I think those red things are mushrooms. Down there, those are definitely mushrooms. And, you know, that's cool. Mushrooms are one of the best things in nature, I think. They're very interesting. And so, I'm still walking through the forest. Seen too much yet. Hopefully we come across something. There are a lot of birds, a lot of bugs, but it's a forest. What do you expect? I think I saw a squirrel earlier, but saw a butterfly. He's flying over there. Hopefully. Oh shoot! Okay, mates. I actually just got a glimpse of some birds. I think I saw one jump. Another one. I'm gonna see if I can approach without scaring them away. I think you can. I don't know if you can see it. They're right on that post. I'll see if I can get a closer look. I don't want to flip the camera because I don't want to mess up the footage. Oh, I flew away. Hopefully you guys saw him, but there is a pretty interesting bird over there. Look at that. You might be able to see him. He's on that branch and he's flying away. Yeah, I'm really glad we caught that. That was a really cool sight. I do love birds. But as I was saying, currently no signs of a green buffalo anywhere to be seen. Hopefully we come across something soon, at least of some sort of animal, other than, you know, your average bird, squirrel, bug, etc, etc. But you know, yeah, I'll make sure to record anything else I'll see. This here is what's known as Gungus fungus. Now, this is quite common in these parts of the woods. It's known for emitting a pheromone that wards off predators. Now, if we're unlucky, this could be what's keeping the green buffalo away. But hopefully that's not the case, because the green buffalo is rarely a predator. It's an herbivore, but they are known to hunt when they feel threatened. Let's hope that our luck can beat out the pheromones of the Gungus fungus, and we continue on. Right, so I coated myself in pheromones to repel any insects. However, my pheromones, the can, isn't working, so that sucks, but we can still salvage this. We're still good. There's enough in there where I can get a bit of the scent on me, and we can carry on. Love nature. That's why I started this show. My favourite type of nature is the fauna you may find, but I'm trying to find the rarest fauna, being the green buffalo. This could be his den for all we know. Now, the green buffalo is relatively small in size, not as big as the American bison. Fun fact, the green buffalo is actually a type of bison. However, it doesn't get to the same size as the American bison, so it is entirely possible that this here could be the den of the green buffalo. We'll have to keep an eye out. As we get further into the shrubbery of this dense forest, we can hear many rustles in patches from the animals living within the woods. For example, there's a butterfly over there. There he is. There could be a squirrel. There could be a raccoon. There could be a deer. There could even be a green buffalo. That's what I'm hoping to find today. Though if we found a deer or a squirrel, I wouldn't be disappointed. I love animals, but I especially love the green buffalo who we're looking for today. Oh, shoot, look at this. That, dear lads, this is the home of the Akawaka owl. Now, the Akawaka owl tends to be a nocturnal species that lives in these forests. It's one of the many creatures from the folklore. I think if we peek inside, we might be able to get a peek at its den. Oh, it's too dark. For all we know, it could be sleeping, or for all we know, it could be hunting. For all we know, it could be hunting us. We don't want that. The Akawaka owl is known to be a very violent owl. It's pretty big too. It's a big owl. Hopefully we don't have to encounter it on our expedition today. But if we do, you always come prepared with your trusty boomerang. Fun fact, the boomerang was actually initially developed to battle against the Akawaka owl, because the owls, they can rotate their heads 360 degrees. Now, you throw something at it, it'll see it. But if it comes back, they'll see it too, and that'll surprise them a good deal. That's why you always carry a boomerang with you when you go into a forest that might have an Akawaka owl. Very important if you're exploring. Alright mates, I had to sit down and take a breather. So far we found some interesting animals, but so far no green buffalo. I'll continue on into the deeper parts of the forest. Hopefully we'll be able to find something there. But mates, we're entering a much denser part of the woods. Now, I think if we're gonna find an animal like the green buffalo, or something of the variety, we look in there, because that is where they're most camouflaged. That is where they like to hide out. So I'm gonna go in there and I'll see what we can get footage of. Alright? Lads, as we head deeper into the bush, we're starting to see more signs of the green buffalo prancing around these parts. Of course, again, we don't know if he's still here, but we do know for a fact that he was here. Hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll be able to find telltale signs that he's around. Now, the green buffalo does tend to hide out in these large areas, often camouflaging himself in large bush-like areas, such as this one. I'm of course not going to go in for my own safety, because if there is a green buffalo, he could very well do some damage to me. However, this is very good to see, because this perfectly fits the green buffalo's preferred habitat, and one day we could come back here and maybe get more lucky with our finds. Alright. Open area. There's a bird. Now this here are the vines of Gynnocoticus. Gynnocoticus is a great and mighty tree. Now, Gynnocoticus was formerly thought to be a dinosaur, which is why it has its name. What the name means, its name roughly translates to big viney dinosaur. But then they realized dinosaurs don't have vines. So they looked at the fossil a bit more, and then they realized, oh, mates, this is a tree. So they were able to reconstruct this tree, and they placed it in this forest as it shares common ancestors with other trees here. It generally a lot of fossils have been found in these forests of mythical creatures, with this tree being one of them. Look at this. Some litterer left this here. Can't believe it. See, these people have no respect for nature, no respect for the mythical creatures of the forest, no respect for the Onka Wonka owl, or whatever it's called. No respect for that cool bug I saw earlier. We need vengeance. We need to cleanse the forest of these polluters. Make the world a better place, I say. Alright lads, we're coming up to a big open area. The green buffalo is known to graze in open areas. While it can survive in most terrains, in fact it can survive in all terrains, it does prefer open areas, because that gives it clear view to see predators, you know? They can survive at the bottom of the ocean, but they're not the top of the game at the bottom of the ocean. That title goes to the Clonda, which is a giant aquatic lizard living at the bottom of the ocean. See, just because an animal can survive there doesn't mean it's the top of the game. Now, somewhere like here, this is where a green buffalo would thrive. Plenty of camouflage, plenty of space to run around and avoid predators. For all we know, he could be hiding in a bush right here. But luckily, we're going into the bush. But look at this. This right here, if I'm not mistaken, is a green buffalo egg. The green buffalo is one of the only mammals that lay eggs, up there with the platypus, the echidna, and the wanaconda. Now, I'm not going to take this because I don't want to disturb its natural habitat. However, this is a good sign that there could be a green buffalo nest somewhere nearby. We have to keep on the lookout if we want to find that nest. Mate, so right here, This one's a bit buried, but I did find another green buffalo egg. This is a really... We can almost confirm there was a green buffalo around here at some point. These eggs, usually the eggs take maybe 5 weeks to hatch. So the egg could have only been laid within the last month or so. So we do know a buffalo was here recently. This is really good. I will have to come back here because once the egg hatches, the mother will likely come back to collect her young. So hopefully I can come back for that and maybe get it on camera for a future episode. It's we're looking at this brush right here. I think I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna try to find a wide open area, and hopefully through there we can find the green buffalo. Get a look at this. This tree is completely derooted. Now, this could very well have been the work of the green buffalo. As we traverse the woods a bit more, we get into the part where all the birds have been hiding out. So hopefully we'll see some... Oh my god. Mate, I think that could have been the call of an animal. Definitely not the green buffalo, but that certainly could have been some other large mammal. I think I saw something there. Look. I hear something up there. Of course, there. Right there. Where? You can see its head poking out. Alright mates, we're heading into this very dense area. Hopefully we'll find something worth showing. This little area is perfectly shaded off. I could see a green buffalo hiding out in this part. Of course there are some signs of human intervention, which is a real shame. Oh, wait, what's that? Oh my god, mates. I'm stunned. Now, earlier we did see a green buffalo egg, and that might be another one. I of course can't get closer due to I don't want to disturb the nest. However, this is a really good find, and I think that this is one of the best areas. Like, if a green buffalo were here, this is where he would be. So I'm very glad we found this little shaded off area. I'll definitely have to come back here in a future episode. Alright, mates, unfortunately we've searched the whole forest and we have not found the green buffalo. We do have other spots to check. There have been many reported sightings nearby, so we know he's around. Hopefully we'll find him one day in a future episode. But with that, that concludes this episode of Into the Bush, and next time we'll find that buffalo.